Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, it's the darkest timeline. So you got me for the day, for the week, for whichever point in time you're listening to this. On this one, I'm talking about hospital visits. Yeah, I know. Quick and easy fix for medical injuries. At the moment, I can't get away from it. There's a little bit of talk about the weight thing, and then athletic abilities. I've got movie, and some computer games. No TV this week, I'm afraid. It's been a busy week, so sorry. Before we get started, please do consider like, share, subscribe, and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. Yeah, that should do. That's about that. Let's get started. Here we go. This is CookieCast, the darkest timeline. Not going to lie, kids. Did not want to start. I am funky and chunky. So, yeah, just not. I was like, right, press the button and sort the rest out later. I think at this part I've been procrastinating for like 90 minutes. I'm tired. I'm just going to yawn all the way through it. Which is going to sound amazing. I was saying to someone today, I had 6 days with all the children. And I don't think at any point I felt as tired as I did at work today. But I think it's a different kind of tired. Like over last week, it was like just feeling so exhausted. But today was just lots of yawning. And now I've said the word yawning. Oh, see? How are we all? Are we good? Living life? Good. I have a list of things. I've spent so much time recently being like, right, I need to get off certain subjects, and I'll talk about other stuff. I'll get off these subjects. And I looked at my list and I was like, there's a bit less of certain things this week, which is good. More of other things, which is good. So, I should look at the list. Oh, jeez. Everyone listening to this now is just yawning their heads off. Like, we hate you so much. Right, I'm doing the turn. Here we go. I'm getting the list. Does anybody else use their phone reminders? I do that thing. I'm like, I'll set a reminder. And then I just spend all day cancelling off reminders, moving them on like a couple of hours, or moving them on to the next day. And obviously, I find them useful, clearly, but yeah. Right. That is not a list. That is a recipe. Okay. Here we go. Yeah. Probably the worst time to reread a list in complete silence. Okay, so last week, my youngest daughter had to go for a appointment at the hospital, which it's interesting when you say that to people and see what sort of different reactions you get. Sometimes people are like, oh. Other times people are like, ooh. Why? You know, that fear aspect. It is a follow-up appointment. It was a follow-up appointment. Off the back of a two-pronged attack. Me and Lam were looking at the fact that we started to think over there's probably years at this point, that she might have something wrong with her hearing. There was like this umming and ahhing and, oh, what about this? Whoa, what about that? And, oh, you know, she doesn't seem to hear this. And so this was going on. We were sort of flagging it with the doctor. And apparently, unbeknownst to us, that she'd had a hearing test at school. She never mentioned it. School never mentioned it. You know, the perfect combination. So they're like, oh, she's had this hearing test and she's failed. Like, okay, what does that mean? It's like, oh, we'll refer you. Like, cool. As with anything medical based nowadays, it is always, we'll refer you, you'll hear something in the next 6 to 19,000 years. But when it's children, it's ever so slightly quicker. It's more like 6 years than 19,000. So, next thing they're like, oh, she needs to come for a follow-up hearing test. Okay. So, she went and she failed. But they were like, she just seems to be quite bunged up at the moment. Does that affect her hearing? Oh, yes, absolutely. If she's got a cold or anything. Definitely affects it. It's almost like it's, you know, we have to say, oh, she's bunged up, so she won't be able to hear you. So that's the other children and stuff. So they were like, okay, well, she has failed this hearing test, but with her being bunged up, it can throw it off. So let's get her back for a follow-up. It was booked for a point in time where it was like Leon was going for an operation the day before, so it was like, we can't take her, and she's full of cold. Absolutely no point. So they were like, fine, we'll move it on. It was just a few weeks, like 2 or 3 weeks or something. So she goes for follow-up hearing test. So this is how I tell this story. I took part of me wants to say I took all the other children. In fact, no, I did. I took all the other children to a park, I think. I think that seems to ring a bell. Took all the other children to a park. So, you know, you've got like your older children are off doing their thing. You've got a younger child to look after, keep an eye on, make sure nobody gets hurt. And they can all be together or be separate. And there's a lot going on, a lot to factor in. And unlike the dad that in the 45 minutes we were there, I didn't see look up from his phone once, even whilst disciplining his son, which has got to be some new ability for me. I think the giveaway was the fact that he had some sort of power pack attached to the phone that was bigger than the phone. And I was like, yeah. Anyway. Doing the stuff, doing the park, doing all the stuff. You know how it goes. And then I was like, right, we need to go. It's time to go. Go home, we've got stuff to do. I think we had something planned for the afternoon, all that sort of stuff. But as we're leaving the park, I check my phone, like the good parent that I am, to see a missed call. And the moment I saw it, I went, shit. Because I knew when I saw the missed call with the phone notification as well, with, I think there was also a text message, all of them from Leanne. I was like, shit, it's bad. I'm like, all right, okay. So I tried phoning her back, nothing. I got a "where are you" text. I was like, oh, we're just leaving the park, we're heading home, sort of situation. No response. She didn't answer the phone. I don't leave her a voicemail. What's the fucking point? So I was like, okay, we need to go home. We were going home anyway. It wasn't like I was like, we need to race home, but I was like, let's go home. Fine. So I go in. I feel like we got back first. So we go in and do the usual get sorted kind of situation. And then Leanne, my youngest daughter, come back. They come in. And 4 kids, they've sort of got their kind of rhythms. So they disperse the moment they get in the house. And some of them pair off and others just go and... my eldest daughter's spending a lot of time on her phone at the moment, which is super fun. My son has that. He's trying to join in with his sisters, but they're kind of doing their own thing. And, there's a lot of dynamics. Dynamics. That was the word. There's a lot of dynamics going on, and that was the least of my worries at that point. But the fact that they dispersed allowed me to have the conversation of, I'm guessing it's not good. And Len was like, no, it's not good. Like, right, okay. So how bad is it? So I went through this whole thing of basically when you're young and you grow and you develop, your face does the same. It grows and it develops. It sort of elongates. And because of that, the parts of the face are supposed to follow suit. And if they don't, turns out affects your hearing. So I was like, okay, so what's the solution? And some not great, not amazing words got thrown around, and I was like, shit. So, it was one of those things because I was like, I knew from the missed call. I knew from the missed call. I was like, it's not going to be good because if it was nothing, she wouldn't have rung me. And I was like, let's just go home. I wasn't worried. I wasn't panicking. I wasn't racing. I was like, let's just go home. We were going home. It doesn't matter. But it hit me like a truck. And it was this combination of, I just feel sorry for her because obviously there's something wrong. I feel sorry for her because there is this aspect of, she deals with this at all times. She deals with it all the time. So when we're getting like frustrated and annoyed and, can you hear what I'm saying? And all of that, the answer is no. She can't hear what we're saying. I've on more than a few occasions expressed the fact that it's become a safety issue. If she's more than 10 feet away and you're like shouting to her, then she can't hear you. But if you're shouting, there is a bear barreling down on you and it's going to maul you, it's a safety issue. If it's you're about to step out into the road, it's a safety issue. If it's any matter of a combination where safety is involved, it's a bad time. So then I switch over to, oh shit, man. All of those times of like I say, saying to me like, can you hear me? And oh, you're just ignoring me, or this has been going on for years. So in my defence, it's been a stressful, frustrating time because for a while I was like, I think she's got something wrong with her hearing. She can't hear us. Oh, she's got a cold. She's bunged up. I'm like, no, I genuinely think she can't hear us. And it's like, oh, well, if that's what you think, maybe we should need to see a doctor. And I'm like, yeah, you think you're honestly going to get seen by a doctor? It's this weird combination of, it just so happens that she had a hearing test at school, and it just so happened that coincided with me and Liam being like, I genuinely think she can't hear us. And the concern I've got is that my son seems to be doing a similar thing, but I think he's mimicking her. I don't think he can't hear us. I think it's actually mimicking that she ignores you when you speak to her. And I think he's just now started ignoring us, especially me. Oh, fucking hell, that fucking child, man. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, honestly. So, I started getting upset. It hit me too hard. It hit me in the wrong way. It hit me in the wrong place. I just felt like I'd been slammed by a truck. I started getting upset for it was so much. I'm like, of all the times I've ever said to her, I'm like, why aren't you listening? You need to turn your ears on. You think about the same thing about the phrase, you need to turn your ears on, for a child that might in the future have to turn her ears on. I was just like, fuck. Thinking about the process of what she might have to go through in the future, being like, bastard, this isn't, and me being me, and I can't handle. I honestly wonder whether I can actually handle anything at this point in time. Like, there are so many things on the list where I'm like, well, I can't handle that. I took a pepper out of the fridge the other day, and it had gone bad, and I was like running away from it, trying not to be sick, going, oh God, I touched it. And Leanne's there like, do you not think it's like a weird thing to have like as a thing? And I'm like, no. It was not moldy, it was bad. And I touched it. When you say something out loud and you're like, it's a little bit ridiculous. So by this point, she then comes into the room. I'm like desperately holding back tears. And I'm like, oh, darling, oh, how are you doing? Are you all right? Oh, let's have a hug. So we're like, have a hug. Because she's always good for a hug. She'll always come and give you a hug. And like, but then I was like, oh, let me pick you up. And I picked her up, and I was giving her a hug and stuff. And she had no understanding at all of the situation. I'm desperately trying to hold the tears in, failing in a lot of ways, but holding it together. But I'm like, fuck. And like, she just doesn't get it. And I'm like, and part of me is like, was I holding this in for the last couple of years? And then, the floodgates broke. Was I don't know if I can really explain it at this point. I was just like, where the hell did that come from? Other than, she's my child, I love her, and I don't want her to be going through something. So, is it just that? Oh, fucking hell. Now, it had some really bad effects. So, there was a point in time where we'd gone out for like a little trip out in the afternoon or something, and she was like, I want to do this. And I'm like, that's it's like you're acting spoiled, you're being spoiled, you do. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely, sure, whatever, anything you want. What is it you need? What do you want? Whilst another part of my brain was like, the fuck are you doing, dude? This is not it. this isn't the answer. And I'm like, there was a point where I turned to my elders and I was like, I am not managing this well. I'm going to crack if she carries on. And I'm going to crack and she's going to get her own way. And next thing I'm like putting pound coins into arcade machines. And on the flip side, when I talk to her, I've raised my voice now. And then, you know, I think she can hear me better. And also, I found that I have a bit more time, I guess. Basically, for all of this time, there was this element of, is she just ignoring? Is she just ignoring us? Is she just not listening? Versus, maybe she can't hear us. And then somebody turns around and goes, yeah, all that time, she couldn't hear you. And you go, fuck, bro. She couldn't hear us. So it wasn't her fault. Sometimes the conversations are hilarious when she says yes. When you ask her, like, do you want to do this or this? And she goes, yes. And you're like, did you hear what I said? And she's like, no. I'm like, so why didn't you say I didn't hear you? She's like, I don't know. I'm like, fucking hell. So, yeah, sometimes it's funny. Other times it's frustrating. Other times it's annoying. Other times you're like, I just need you to answer yes or no. She's like, it's 3:00. I'm like, fuck. But yeah, it's been a roller coaster. I picked her up this afternoon and I was walking down the hill and I was like, did you have a good day? And then I caught myself and I was like, did you have a good day? Because I have to switch over into this higher volume. And another thing, I'm off now. Another thing, the number of times oh shit, the bed. These are the things the number of times I've said, like, I'm like, darling, you are talking so loud right now. You're at 11. Turn it down to a 7. Give it the old friends. You're at 11. Turn it down to 7. And now I'm like, she talks loud because that's the only... Fucking hell. It's the only way she can hear herself. Oh, bro. Do you want me to tell you a story that... This story makes me so insanely angry, while simultaneously being like, it's great, I love it. Let me tell you this story. Long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, which probably means like 4 or 5 years ago, we had this. It was a rubber foot roller. I think it's like I want to say, oh, it's for this or oh, it's for that. It's a foot roller. Take from that what you will. It's raised on either end. It's cylindrical. You put your foot on it and you roll it. Now, at that time, I'm like, it's a foot roller. Never thinking at any point in time, what was it for? And it was just there. And it had a particular place where it lived in the house. And over the time of 2 cats, a dog, and 4 kids, it turned into this object that was annoying. It had this place where it lived, which it shouldn't have done. And it had no use for any of the people who might actually use it. And instead, just animals and children just played with it. And it became this object that was just an annoyance. And then one day, it vanished. And I think that like a little while ago, there was a conversation where the conversation went along the lines of some mention of the foot roller. And Leanne was like, I got rid of it because nobody was using it as a foot roller and everybody was using it as something other than a foot roller. And it just became annoying. There endeth the story. Not quite, though. Don't know if I mentioned this, but what was probably about a year ago at this point in time, I developed a particularly bad case of plantar fasciitis. Now, anybody that does any running out there will tell you plantar fasciitis is common. It's annoying. I suffered horrifically badly with plantar fasciitis about 25 years ago. So much so that I nearly ended up having surgery because a surgeon managed to locate a loose bone, a floating bit of bone in my foot that was just floating around, and he was like, yeah, we'll just cut your foot open, take it out, job done. The woman that booked my next consultation for surgery, got the time of the booking wrong, booked me in at a completely wrong time. I turn up at a different time. They're like, you missed your appointment. Like, I absolutely didn't. It was booked for this time. They were like, no, it was booked for this time. I was like, that's funny because I wasn't available at that point in time. So why would I have booked an appointment to come at that time? No, it was absolutely. I was like, no, the person that booked it got it wrong. And that was the end of that process. And then a little bit further down the line, it just went. And I was like, fine. The reason I'm telling this part of the story is because I know what plantar fasciitis feels like. It is and can be excruciatingly painful. It can affect your walking massively, and it can vary from light to crippling. About a year ago, I developed plantar fasciitis. And it was bad to start with. It was annoying. It was annoying to start with. And then progressively got worse. So much so that I started getting shoes that were designed to relieve plantar fasciitis. Shoes. So from that point on, from buying that pair of shoes, I was going to have to deal with the fact that they were designed to relieve plantar fasciitis. So far, I am on my second pair of shoes. So it's that long. Think how long it takes to go through a pair of shoes. At this point in time, I'm wearing a pair of slippers. In my slippers are insoles that were bought specifically to try and relieve the plantar fasciitis. In my old pair of running shoes, insoles put in to try and relieve plantar fasciitis. I reached a point where I was like, I think these running shoes need to go. I need some new running shoes because I think they're making the plantar fasciitis worse. It got to the point, just about to the point, where I was seriously struggling to walk. And there was a day, a couple of weeks ago, I'm pretty sure I was at work, where I was genuinely struggling to walk across the office. And I was like, what is the solution to this? What is the solution past this point? I'm not going to be able to walk anymore. Weirdest thing is, I'd be struggling to walk places, and then the moment I start running, I'd be just away. So weird. So as time's gone on, and suffering with plantar fasciitis, suffering as I have been, the running joke in the house has become, oh man, can you imagine if we had a foot roller? Because it was originally a joke of, man, that fucking foot roller is fucking annoying. So I'm like, there was a point where I was like, what happened to the foot roller? I got rid of it. Nobody needed it. Oh, right. Well, it'd be really good if I didn't have plantar fasciitis right now and be able to use it to get rid of it. So that's been going on for months at this point in time. One day last week, I'm stood in the dining room. Leanne has opened a parcel. She's rooting through it. She's like taking stuff out. Like, oh, I got this. Oh, I got that. Oh, I got the other. And then it suddenly throws a bag at me. And I catch it, and I'm like, whoa. And inside the bag is I hate to say it, but it is true, what I would describe as cheap hard plastic roller, and I can see it from here. It's not rubber, it's plastic. It's hard. It's got spikes all over it. I looked at it and went, I bet this set you back a few pennies. Literally. I took it out of the bag immediately. I dropped it on the floor. I took my slipper off and I rolled my foot on it. And I went, that is hands down one of the weirdest sensations I think I've ever had, because it hurt, it tickled, it felt good, and it made me feel sick all at the same time. All four of those things were happening at once. I rolled my foot forward, backwards, forward, backwards, forward, backwards, about 5-6 times. I stopped because I couldn't take it anymore, because I thought I might actually be sick. Put my foot on the floor and went, you motherfucker. And my eldest was with me. She was laughing at me with making all the noises I was making. And she was like, what, has it fixed it? And I was like, started walking around. I'm like, this has got to be a wind up. And I'm touching as much wood as I can see right now. Wink, wink. But I've used it. I think I've used it twice since. Just, keep on top of it, etc., etc. As I sit here right now, feeling the back of my foot, as I said to somebody at work the other day, my foot, it's not 100%, but it is 1,000 times better than it was. All I can think is, man, if only we had that foot roller still. I could have solved it months ago. So I think last time we spoke, I'd missed a weight goal by a little ways. I was a bit sort of like, oh man. During last week, I hit said weight goal. Was very happy about that. The weight goal in question was that I'd lost 4 stone between the highest weight in 2024 and that point in time. But that point was early on in last week's fast. As of this morning, I've gone through the next weight goal. Realised between I think it's last week and this week, there was like an 8-pound difference or something between the week before. Basically, it's another half a stone past a weight goal. Now, I know there's a thing people are going to start saying, well, hang on a minute, where does it all stop? Well, my plan was to get to where I am now. I've now got to where I am now, and I've gone, well, actually, I redid the maths. I did a little googly-moogly and found that the numbers were off slightly. I need to lose the other half a stone to be in my desired height weight category. Problem being is, once I reach that part, I need to address a few things like keeping the waistline down whilst trying to, increase protein intake to increase muscle mass, and keep the weight, the overall weight down, which is going to be tricky. But, so yeah, etc., etc., etc. Hit an eating phase today. And I got to a point where I was short on time, I was struggling to find something to eat, and there was a point in time where I was like, do you know something, that I might just skip it? I don't have the time to be messing around, so I might skip it and just leave it for the rest of the day, do something for tea, etc. As it was, I've actually gone the other way. Managed to find some lunch and kind of skip tea instead. I've got an quote unquote eating day tomorrow, but honestly, even at this point, I'm like, I think I'll just save myself for some tea. I've got a big meal to make, and I think that'll be me done. Seriously not enjoying the eating phases as much as the not eating phases at the moment. So starting to wonder if that's a bit of a concern. So yeah, something else, something that started to be interesting, certainly to me, is different things. I've achieved different things recently. So there's been this ongoing sort of running thing of, in our house, how many pull-ups can you do? And I keep joking like, oh, well, Truett, I always say Truett did 10,001. World record, 10,001. By the way, if you don't want to really upset yourself, don't ever Google the most sit-ups in 24 hours, because that is disgusting. So, there's been this thing. How many pull-ups can you do? And I've been trying, but I have this problem that like I don't know what you'd call them, a rear pull-up, a front pull-up. All of these ones I can't do. I can attempt to do, I don't even know what you would call the type of pull-up. It's like, rather than the bar going sideways, the bar goes forwards to backwards and you use like two handles. So I've been trying to do those. So it's been going along. Obviously, over the last week, I've been losing weight. It's something me and my older children have been sort of playing around with. I'll come on to one of the aspects of that in a little bit. But we go to a park, and all the conditions were perfect for this. I will stress that. But my eldest is like, we get to the monkey bars, and she starts like trying to do pull-ups on the monkey bars, and I was like, all right, okay, all this. So we were like, how many can you do in a minute? Do you think you could do this many in a minute? Oh, this. She just like reps out a pull-up. I'm like, wow, that is the first time I've seen you do a genuine, just straight off clean pull-up. However, next thing, she can't do them. So I'm like, let me have a go. So I get myself set up like I would on the pull-up bar at home, and I pull, and I'm like, cool. I've achieved a pull-up, which don't want to lie or anything, but that in itself was a bit of a mind-blowing achievement. But there was something else. I realised that I could go down and without touching the floor, go back up. Then I got real scared and was like, what the fuck is happening right now? And I had to sort of jump down. And I was like, almost a bit like, I was sort of like, head over to Lan. I was like, do you see my pull-ups? She was like, oh yeah. I was like, do you see the fact that I didn't touch the floor? And I did too. She was like, yeah. I'm like, huh. Because in my head, list of things, like, I'm never going to be an astronaut. I'm never going to travel to the moon, like those other ones didn't. I'm never going to do this. I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to do the other. There are certain things in your head, I'm never going to have a number one album. I'm never going to be in a blockbuster movie. I'm never, things that you know for a fact are never going to happen for you. On that list, for me, was, I don't think I'll ever be able to do a pull-up. And I've listened to Bill Burr's podcast for many, many years, and in his podcast he talks about that he's got this bet with a friend that when he's 70, I think he said, that he's still going to be able to do 10 pull-ups. And every time he said it, it's like, I couldn't do 10th of a pull-up now, let alone 70. It was just one of those things. At one point in time, I had a workout plan that had pull-ups on it. And this was a point in time when I went to a fully loaded, every possible piece of equipment gym you could think of. One of the things was an assisted pull-up machine, and I used to have to put it on the highest assist, and I still struggled. And I'm sure it was something like 180 pounds. So think about all of that. Think about all the maths involved and all of that. I knew with every fibre of my being that I was never going to be able to do a pull-up. And that was that. 3 things in life are definite: death, taxes, and me never doing a pull-up. If that's your life, if that's your opinion of yourself, if that is the knowledge that you have of yourself, I could achieve this, I could achieve that. I'll give you an example. There is a part of me that goes, I think I could do a marathon. I think I could do a marathon. I could train for a marathon. I could do a marathon. It might take me a year to train for it and get up to speed for it. But I think I could do a marathon. Why? Because over the space of, I think it was 2 weeks, I managed to take my running from my average, 5k to 10 miles. And all I did was add a mile a day. That was it. Today I'm doing 4, tomorrow I'm doing 5, the next day I'm doing 6. I just got up 15 minutes earlier every day. Simple. I was getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I ran, at one point I got up at 5 in the morning, I ran 9 miles, and I'm like, right, it's time to go to work. It was just the way it was. And with that knowledge, I was like, I think if I carry on, I'll be able to do a marathon. That was my trajectory. Then I broke a bone, and that was the end of that process. But because of that, there is a part of me that says, I think maybe I could do a marathon at some point. Not anytime soon, or maybe ever. But the mentality is there. So if you think about that, versus I will never be able to do a pull-up. Think about the 2 things side by side. To then go and attempt to do a pull-up and not only be able to do one, but then do a second one without touching the floor, I was low-key freaking out. Like, what the fuck just happened? Few minutes passed, 2 or 3 minutes passed, and I was genuinely dying. I was like, I'm in so much pain right now. My body doesn't know what's happening. I felt like I'd torn my right pec. I thought I'd pulled a muscle, like a genuine torn muscle in my back. My arms were screaming. I was going down fast and hard. And I genuinely thought that there may have been some sort of medical emergency going on. All sorts of stuff. But somehow, me and my eldest find ourselves back at the monkey bars. She's back trying to do a pull-up, which she can't. I'm like, the fuck is going on? You literally just repped out a pull-up. She's like, I know, I don't understand it. I was like, just do it. I don't know how, I don't know what's going on. I was like, just do the freaking pull-up. Off the back of this, I'm like, look, I did it. So between us, she starts actually managing to do it. I was like, I think you need to position your body differently and then just pull. She's like, okay. So next thing, she can do it. And I'm like, right, you can do it. She's like, well, you do it. So we were trying to work out if we could do 4 in a minute. And we were then doing some maths about to do 10,000 sit-ups to do 10,000 pull-ups in a day. How many do you have to do? It turns out it's 7 a minute. That's for every minute for 24 hours. So fucking hell. But anyway. So we set the goal of 4 in a minute. I started my watch. I was like, go. She was like, cool. She didn't do the first one. I'm like, what's happening? And then the minute ran out and I'm like, well, now what? I was like, right, I'll do it. Thinking it's a minute. It's 4 pull-ups. I did 2 back to back. I can do 4 in a minute. I banged out 4 pull-ups. Had to stop because I was like, I am genuinely freaking out at this point in time. And I was like, there you go. There's your 4. I've done it in under a minute. I think we need to go home. So I went over and I spoke to Leanne. I was like, and she was like, yeah, we need to go. Because I was like, I was planning this big tea for the kids and stuff. It was all kid friendly food and all this, while simultaneously trying something new, which was a terrible combination. What's more terrible is that it went down an absolute storm. They're all there like, can I have some more? I'm like, I didn't make any more because I wasn't sure you would like it. Oh, can I have some more? I'm like, I haven't made any more and it'll take 20 minutes to make more. So, never underestimating all that. So I know this is very much, this sounds a lot like blow your own trumpet sort of situation, but this is not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is, can you understand the concept that I'm talking about? With every fibre going, never going to be able to do a pull-up, to doing pull-up. So, we go swimming yesterday. Definitely wasn't doing any pull-ups in the swimming pool. My daughters say, oh, can you do a forward roll? And I said, I don't think so. I used to be able to when I was younger, like when I was, in my tweens and teens. But genuinely, I had a different body at that point in time to the body I have now. This is an older, flabbier version of that body. I definitely don't think I can do it. But I'm prepared to give it a go. I was like, from what I remember, you have to breathe out through your nose. You can't do it with your goggles on because they spin round. And you just kind of have to do it and commit to it. I was like, I'll give it a go. Thinking, what is happening right now? And I tried it and I did it first time. And then they were like, do it again. I was like, okay. And I did it again. And I was genuinely freaking the fuck out. Just like, what is going on with this? So I know it sounds like I'm like, oh, but I'm trying to get across how strange how weird it is, how to feel. I attribute it to, do you remember in the first Men in Black, there was the little alien dude that lived it was like in a giant robot, but the robot was the human, but there was like a little alien inside his head. That's how it feels. But that's how I've always felt. I've felt like the little alien driving the big robot with a load of levers and a load of buttons, because I've never felt like, when I was in the giant body, I just felt like the person that was inside driving it. And now, like, half the size, half the person I used to be, genuinely half the person weight-wise, now I feel the same. I still walk around with that fat person mentality, and then have to go, well, you're not quite as fat anymore. And it's weird. Part of me, I'm not even going to joke on this, I'm not even lying. There is a part of me that goes, maybe it would just be easier to put all the weight back on, because then at least things would marry up. At least when I'm like walking along and in my head going, well, you're just a big fat guy. I don't know where it's like some sort of like conditioning. So speaking of like athletic stuff, worked out in the last week that my middle daughter has this weird ability, and it's something I've heard about. There's a certain type of person that has this ability to just do athletic things. So, we go bowling. We get there and I was like, oh, I've put the bumpers on for you guys. My eldest is like, can I have the bumpers? I was like, oh, I didn't put them on for you. If you want them on, I can put them on. Go into the settings, change it. Like, the players went had automatic bumpers. Like, you select if you as a player need them, and it puts them up and down depending on what you've chosen. I thought that was super cool. So I'm like, yeah, sure, put the bumpers on. And then I was like, right, me and you will bowl properly. The other guys, they'll want the ramp. Do you want the ramp? You can have the ramp if you want. No, I'm going to try and bowl. Okay, cool. My middle daughter goes, I'm going to try and bowl as well. And I'm like, well, you can just use the ramp. She's like, no, I'm going to try and bowl. I'm like, darling, it's a big bowling ball, and you're a small person. The ball's a percentage of your body. I don't know if it's something that you can. She was like, no, I'm going to bowl. I'm like, fine, okay. Thinking in my head, you're going to try, and then two goes in. You're like, can I have the ramp, please? Then my youngest daughter's like, I'm going to bowl as well. I'm sure you are. So I have a go. My eldest has a go. Middle daughter comes up, and I'm like, right, this is how you want to do it. You want to do it like this, you want to do it like this, take a couple of steps, and then do this, and then arm back and swing the ball and all this. First go, ball goes sailing off down the lane, hits some pins. I was like, I mean, that's basically it. That's how you do it. So, cool. We get the ball. I was like, right, take your steps, arm back, roll the ball. Away we go. She does it again. I'm like, okay. So we all have a go. It comes around again. My go, my eldest go. My middle daughter steps up. I was like, right, get your ball and do it. I think it was round about that point that I went, you don't need my help for this. You can do this. And I just left her to it. And we had 2 games and she just bowled. And I'm like, cool. At one point I said to her, hey, I seem to think that you were really good when we went to the driving range. And you were really good when we did foot golf at some point. So maybe you've just got this weird sort of, I've heard of it before, some people can just do athletic things. They just have this ability. A couple of days later, we head out to the driving range. Right, girls, here's your clubs, here's your balls. Get yourselves set up. Away we go. In the middle of hitting balls on the driving range, my middle daughter decides to basically do a muscle up, press up on a bar just while we're stood waiting. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? We're here to hit golf balls, and you're doing freaking the sort of stuff you see on the internet. I'm like, geez, man. Next thing, there was a point in time where she'd like gone on to like her own bay for hitting balls because it got quiet, so she went on to her own bay. And I was like, oh, press the button and the tee will go up so you can put your ball on it. So the tee goes up, and I'm like, oh, darling, I might have gone a bit too high. At which point she hits the ball, it goes up in the air, goes 50 yards down the range, and I'm like, oh, maybe you need it that high so you can hit it like that. So I'm starting to get an idea that the child has got some sort of ability. I've heard of it. I've seen it where a lot of people get like underestimated, and then they go out and do these amazing things that people shouldn't be able to do first freaking time. So the thing that sunk it for me was this. In the process of me doing forward rolls in the swimming pool, my middle daughter says, I'm going to do a forwards roll. And I said, go on then. And she did what you would imagine a young child attempting a forward roll in the swimming pool would do. She put as much gusto into it that she could and then dunked her head in the water. And I cracked up. I fell out. I was just like, that is hilarious. It was brilliant. Me and my eldest laughing. She comes up, she's laughing. We're all laughing at what an amazing feat of athleticism it was, of her just dunking her head in the water. She's like, I'm going to try again. I was like, yeah, do it again. She dunks her head in the water. We're all laughing. It's just an absolute riot. couple of minutes pass. And I can see like the cogs are turning, but I'm like, where are these cogs turning to? Your attempt at doing a forward roll in the swimming pool just resulted in absolute hilarity. So, next thing, she's like, I'm going to give it another go. I was like, all right, okay. So she did actually commit and ended up doing this sort of, it started as a forward roll, but she went sideways. She just went off kilter and went and did like a sideways roll. And I was like, darling, that's really good as an improvement. All that's happened there is you've gone ever so slightly off kilter and you've rolled sideways. But that's really good to go from dunking your face in the water to just, and the beginning, absolutely bang on. I was like, basically, it's all about committing to it. You've got to go and go and go, and you tighten everything up, and then you just go. It's like a shotgun blast. You just do it. And when you commit to actually doing it, you're going to get it. I'm like, we'll come swimming again in a few weeks. We'll come swimming again over the next few months. That's absolutely not a problem. I'm sure she'll get it at some point. And about a minute passed, and she announced, I'm going to give it another go. And I'm like, yeah, good on you. You do right. You give it your best shot. And she then performs a forward roll in the swimming pool. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this child? And she popped up out of the water. And I went, that was perfect. That was a almost perfect forward roll. You had an ever so slight wobble at the start, but that was an almost perfect forward roll. I'm turning to my eldest. I'm like, I mean, that is unheard of. To go from dunking her face in the water to minutes later being able to do a full forward roll in the pool. I was like, I learned over years, I think. I learned over an amount of time. I didn't learn it in a matter of minutes. She's excited. She's like, oh, I managed to do it. Let me do it again. Sure, I'll give it another go. She does it again, and this time it is 10 out of 10 perfect. And I said to her, I was like, darling, I can't express how good that is. You went from dunking your face in the water to performing a perfect forward roll in 4 minutes. With minimal practice. You like my youngest comes to me, she's like, can you help me do a forward roll? I was like, sure. Take your armbands off. Take your goggles off. Get yourself ready, and I'm just going to roll you over in the water. Now, she does a lot of swimming, and basically she would just, if you put her underwater, she'll just go, and then eventually she'll pop up. So there was absolutely no worries, me just spinning around real quick. So I was like, take a big breath, 3, 2, 1, and I'll do it. And I did 3, 2, 1, and I span around, and she came up. She was like, that was fun. I was like, cool. We'd moved on to doing handstands, all of this. I'm like, who goes from not being able to do something like that to being able to do it in under 4 minutes? It's absolutely insane. All I can think now is, what other sporting things can I get her to try and see if she's just naturally gifted at? Insane to me. I mean, I guess that's because I have no natural talent whatsoever. Anyway, because it's been a child-heavy week, there's been no TV this week. If I'm honest, I think I don't really know how to sort of categorize it. We'd been watching Blacklist, we've been mooching along with it, everything had been going fine. I'd been watching actually, now I think about it, I'm like, I didn't get on the treadmill a single time over the last week. I don't believe that's true. So I must have watched some of Tulsa King. But Anyway, let's move on. Me and my eldest watched some movies, nothing new, so nothing really to talk about. Although, a proud parenting moment was at the point in time my daughter was like, I'd like to watch Happy Gilmore, please. And I went, fuck yes. And we put Happy Gilmore on, and she laughed like a drain at that movie. And I was like, oh, I'm proud, because I never know how comedy works with kids. Like my other daughter was watching Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and howling at it. And I'm like, yeah, it's like PG kids humour. It's funny for kids. But when you move up into like a 12, it's comedy. And I was saying to Leanne, like, she was through in the other room, she was watching it. I popped through to check on like my other daughter. And I was like, that film is like a laugh every few seconds through the first half. So the fact that we can hear her laughing every few seconds, it's obviously working for her. But it's Happy Gilmore. What I can say is this: I did watch a new film, and I watched it last night, and fuck me, it was one of those situations. Was it good? Yes, I really enjoyed it. I watched Den of Thieves, a film I'd been forced into a situation where I had to buy on Blu-ray about 10 days before they decided they were going to put it on Prime. By the way, if they'd have given me the option to buy it on Prime, I'd have done that, but that wasn't an option. Motherfuckers. Anyway, I watched Den of Thieves because there's a second one, which I watched the trailer for, and I was like, yeah, looks interesting. Definitely need to know what's gone on in the first one. So, I'm like, I want to see the first one. Let's do it. I put it on, I start watching it. I'm like, how long is this film? Because I knew I'd been watching a little while, but all of a sudden the film sort of deviates, and I'm a bit like, whoa. We're talking Saturday night action movie here. I was watching it on Sunday, but that doesn't matter. Saturday night action movie, and we're doing thoughts and feelings and emotions. What is this? I pressed the button to see like how long I'd watched and how long was left, and it told me that I'd watched 38 minutes. And I went, okay. And it told me there was an hour and 40 left, and I went, the fuck there is? This is a 2 hour 20 movie? Are you kidding? Why is it 2 hours 20? If you'd have told me it was 2 hours long, I'd have been like, that's probably a bit long for something like this. I just thought it was going to be a bog standard action movie. The number one biggest complaint I had about this film, and the only thing I've written down, is too long. Unnecessarily long. The whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, you could have cut this out. You could have cut this out. You could have cut this out. This was not needed. I don't need to see this bit. They were doing he's a bad guy, but he's a good guy, but he's a bad guy, but he's a good guy. And now he's a real bad guy because he's broken his family up and he's got kids. And now his wife and his kids have left. And I'm like, okay. I feel like you're either trying to make him more likeable or more dislikable, but I don't think you're achieving either. So, what's the point? And then it just started hammering this whole message home. Oh, he's got this difficult home life. I thought we were trying to catch bank robbers. Now, I will say this. The film was desperately trying to be Heat. Like, all of it. The whole thing. All of it. It was like, we think there's a hole in the market, and that hole is that nobody's made Heat for a while, so we want to do that. And not too much of a spoiler, but they go from, we're going to do this bank job. It's like, cool. And they're like, and now we've done this bank job, we're now going to do the biggest bank job in history. And there's a point where they establish that, this crew, they've actually been committing all these robberies for all this time, and it turns out that we just didn't realise they were all connected. So they're actually bigger bad guys than we thought they were. Yeah. At least he had the decency to show us the other robberies. Oh, this guy is a bad guy. He was in prison. All right, okay. Oh, but they were all in the military. That's why they're so good. All right, okay. Now I know what you're thinking. Well, it sounds like you didn't like it. That is not the case. I actually really enjoyed it. I had some issues, and I could talk at length about them. I don't know what you're thinking. Well, isn't that the idea? You're reviewing it. Kind of. I reach a point with reviews where I'm like, I just make it sound like I hate stuff, and I don't. I genuinely enjoyed this film. It was just too long. And the whole time I was like, I'd love the ability to drop a movie into an editing software. I'm looking at a piece of editing software now that I could edit video with. I would love to drop Den of Thieves in there and deliver a 90-minute cut of that movie. And a 90-minute cut of that movie would be chef's kiss. A 2-hour 20-minute cut of that movie is just too much, too long, too unnecessary. We didn't need so much of it. Now, the stuff we did need was great. There was a bit, though, where I was like, you're telling me that this entire thing, this entire movie hinges on whether that man can get in that vent? And you all knew this at the start. Yeah, it was all a bit Usual Suspects at the end, and it ended. And I'm like, cool, I am more than prepared to watch the second one now. So I'll have to see at some point how and when I can go about seeing that. I have a feeling that it was going to be at the cinema, but I also have a feeling that was a while ago. Let me just have a little look, actually, because I feel... How would I find it out? Do I just do IMDb? Everyone's favourite, me looking up something on IMDb during a podcast. And then do I just do Den of Thieves Pantera, which, let's face it, absolute banger of a name. No idea why. What is the release date for the film? Tell me now, or forever hold your peace. Well, the poster that they've got there says in theatres January 10th. So, does that mean it's been and gone and I can try and watch it? So let's have another look. Let's go to there. Den of Thieves 2. No. Okay. I can listen to the soundtrack if I want. That's not the reason I'm here. So, okay. Next would be when does Den of Thieves 2 come out? 25th of April. Oh. some sort of long wait. Don't know if they use January 10. Don't know if these 2 confirms UK release date after long wait. Oh. So what, it's already been out in America or something? Well, whatever. Partially answers our questions. So, I am set up, ready to rock and roll for Den of Thieves. I'm not even sure if it was called Den of Thieves 2. Den of Thieves Pantera. If there's no Pantera music in that film, have they missed a trick or have they... I don't know. Computer games. Been a bit light this week. I haven't put the PlayStation on in a while, so no Rise of Ronin for this guy. And I've flitted between a couple of games on the deck. I finished DMC. I finished the first Devil May Cry, which I was glad of. In the end, the last couple of levels of that game, bro, I did not think I was going to finish it because it was annoying as fuck. And then one afternoon, I was just like, right, let's get this game finished or move on. As it was, I finished it, and that was that. Done. Started Devil May Cry 2, and somebody said to me the other day, oh, yeah, Devil May Cry 2, I remember it not being very good. And I was like, whoa, Devil May Cry 2? I can't remember it right now, but I'm sure it must have been good. I've played all the Devil May Cry games. They were great. They were wonderful. So far, I've played Devil May Cry 2, and yeah, they weren't wrong. It is not great. It's very much a... Huh? Like, if you play the first one, you're like, this is fantastic. Should have been a Resident Evil game, but it isn't. It's Devil May Cry, and it's brilliant. Yeah, like I say, it gets a bit annoying towards the end. There's this particular enemy that's just annoying. And the thing is, they're annoying because they can kill you quite easily, but there's nothing you can do about it. That, to me, is annoying. Devil May Cry 2 is more of a... What was the level design behind this? Because I sure as shit I don't know. So it's been a bit more of a slog. I bought a game for my daughter thinking that it might give her like a different type of game to try, and she was not a fan. I was like, here, give Manhunter a try. Not Manhunter, give Maneater a try. She not a fan of that game. So I was playing a little bit of that, because I am a fan of it. As for VR, I've only been playing Behemoth for a couple of reasons. One, I reached that point in a game where I was like, I think I just want to get this finished now. So I've been sort of soldiering on with it. Two, I was like, I'll get this off my plate and then I'm going to go back. I've got a couple of things I want to go back and revisit. I want to try the Bioshock mod for Half-Life Alyx again. And I need to go and try the updated beta for Into the Radius 2 to see if it actually works this time. But I've just been playing Behemoth and I'm basically at the very end of this, but I think I'd saved it just before going into the final battle, which I remember being quite annoying. So I think that's part of the reason I saved it where I did. But yes, that is that for the week. Big thank you for watching, big thank you for listening, and yeah, I'll catch you next time. So there you go, what do you think of that? Another one done, another one gone. Big thank you for watching, big thank you for listening, big thank you for being here. Before you leave us, please do consider like, share, subscribe and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review, and share the podcast around. Check out the website, that's the one. Check out the website. There we've got social media buttons. No. We've got social media links and an email button for you to get in touch with us. Oh man, it's tough. It's tough getting the words out sometimes. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. And yeah, I'll catch you next time.
This is a Cookie Cast production.